The shuttle hummed through the void between stations, its engines producing a steady vibration that most species found mildly irritating. Leora Vance, however, found it soothing. The human had been awake for 37 standard hours, coordinating the relief supplies for the Outer Rim colonies. Her eyes had begun to droop during the cargo inspection, and by the time she'd strapped into the passenger shuttle for the 2-hour journey to Station Kepler 9, exhaustion had already claimed her. She was asleep before the first jump sequence initiated. Tiri noticed immediately. The small Cravathi cub, barely 4 solar cycles old, had been watching the human with fascination since boarding. Humans were rare in this sector, and Tiri had never seen one in person before. The stories said they were dangerous. These Deathworlders from Terra, apex predators who evolved on a planet that actively tried to kill them. But this one just looked tired. "Mama," Tiri whispered, tugging on her parent's sleeve with a small clawed paw. The humans sleep-bonded. Tiri's mother, Kessa, glanced over and chittered softly, the Cravathi equivalent of a sigh. "Let her rest, little one. Humans require frequent rest cycles. Their biology is inefficient." "But Mama," Tiri insisted, ears flattening with concern. "Her safety restraints aren't engaged." Kessa looked again, more carefully this time. The cub was right. The human seatbelt hung loose at her sides, unfastened. In the relaxed gravity of steady flight, it didn't matter much, but they were approaching a jump point. During transition, unrestrained passengers could be injured or worse. "I'll wake her," Kessa said, beginning to unbuckle her own restraints. "No." Tiri's voice came out louder than intended, drawing curious looks from the other passengers, a mix of Cravathi, Zentarii, and one drowsy Moltok merchant. "You said we shouldn't wake sleeping humans." "You said they get—" What was the word? Cranky? Kessa's whiskers twitched in amusement. She had said that, hadn't she? It was in the human interaction guidelines, actually. Humans deprived of sleep exhibit increased aggression and decreased cognitive function, wake only in emergencies. The jump transition isn't for another 8 minutes. Kessa calculated. "I suppose I could fasten them for her." "I want to do it," Tiri said quickly, already unbuckling. "Please, Mama? I've been studying human safety protocols in school. I know how their restraint systems work." Kessa hesitated. Humans were unpredictable when startled, and Tiri was so small. But the cub's education had been thorough. Human integration was mandatory in all Galactic Coalition schools now. Given how rapidly the Terrans were spreading through the stars. And it would be good practice. "Very well," Kessa agreed. "But slowly, gently. Don't wake her." Tiri approached with the careful precision of a predator cub stalking prey, which in Cravathi culture was the highest form of respect. Each padded step was deliberate. Claws retracted, breathing controlled. Up close, the human was fascinating. Her skin was a warm brown, smooth, except for the strange pattern of marks around her eyes. Freckles, the educational holos called them. Her chest rose and fell with each breath, slower and deeper than any Cravathi would manage. Everything about her spoke of a heavy gravity origin. The dense muscle structure, the thick bones visible beneath her skin, the sheer solidity of her frame. Tiri had learned that humans came from a 1-2G world with an oxygen-rich atmosphere, a death world where megafauna still roamed and predators the size of shuttles once hunted in packs, where the weather could kill in minutes, and the very ground sometimes split open and swallowed cities whole. And yet here was this human, vulnerable in sleep, trusting the galaxy around her to keep her safe. The cub reached for the first seatbelt segment, lifting it with both paws. It was heavier than expected. Human engineering tended toward overbuilding everything, but Tiri managed. The trick was to cross the straps over the human's torso without touching her, threading the right segment under the left arm while drawing the left segment over the right shoulder. Leora stirred slightly, mumbling something in her native language. Tiri froze, ears flat, tail stiff. But the human only shifted, settling deeper into sleep. Working more carefully now, Thierry completed the crossbody restraint pattern, then reached for the lap belt. This required leaning across the human's legs, thick, powerful limbs that could probably kick through the shuttle's interior paneling. The cub's heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement. The lap belt clicked into place with a satisfying sound. Good, Kessa whispered from her seat. Now, the chest clip. The chest clip was the most delicate part. It required pressing close to the human's torso to join the shoulder straps at the sternum. Thierry stretched up on hind paws, small claws finding purchase on the armrest, and carefully worked the mechanism. Click. Perfect. All 4 points secured, exactly as the safety protocols required. Thierry returned to the seat beside Kessa, just as the shuttle's announcement system activated. Jump transition in 60 seconds. All passengers confirm restraint status. Around the cabin, lights blinked green as seatbelts registered their occupants secure. Leora's light blinked green too, though she remained deeply asleep. The Moltok merchant across the aisle had watched the entire interaction. Now, he leaned toward Kessa. Your cub shows great courage, he rumbled in the trade language. Most adults won't approach a sleeping human. Thierry is brave, Kessa agreed, pride warming her voice. And curious. A dangerous combination. Humans like curiosity, the Moltok observed. It's one of the few traits we share with them. The jump transition began a moment of disorienting nothingness as the shuttle's drive folded space around them. Objects not properly secured rattled and shifted. Passengers felt their stomachs drop as gravity stuttered. Leora slept through all of it, safely held by restraints she didn't remember fastening. When she finally woke, 40 minutes later, she blinked groggily at the seatbelt across her chest. For a moment, confusion clouded her features. Then she shrugged, apparently deciding she must have buckled herself in her sleep-deprived state. She never noticed the small Cravathi cub watching her with pride-bright eyes, or the mother's gentle paw resting on her child's shoulder. But when Leora stood to exit at station Kepler 9, she paused by Kessa's seat. Your cub's brave, she said in perfectly accented Cravathi standard. Approaching sleeping humans is on the don't do list in most safety manuals. Kessa's whiskers flattened in surprise. You were awake? Light sleeper. Leora grinned, showing her omnivore teeth flat and white, and somehow still predatory. Comes from living on a planet where everything wants to eat you. She looked down at Thierry, who was trying very hard to appear confident despite quaking ears. Thank you for making sure I was safe, little one. That was very kind. Then she was gone, disappearing into the station crowd with her duffel bag slung over one shoulder. Thierry watched her go, tail swishing with excitement. Mama, did you hear? She said I was brave. You were, Kessa confirmed, pulling her cub close. Though perhaps next time, tell me when you're planning to be brave. My heart can only handle so much. But she was purring as she said it. And Thierry knew that sometimes the best way to learn about the galaxy's most dangerous species was to offer them kindness while they slept. After all, that's what humans did for everyone else, wasn't it? They watched over the galaxy's vulnerable, fastened seatbelts for those who couldn't, and kept the darkness at bay while others rested. Perhaps, Thierry thought, the galaxy had been lucky when humanity finally reached the stars. Perhaps they all had.